Her book, D is for Dating, column on JDate, and many TV appearances have helped hundreds of daters make a match. Whether you're single, married, dating, or anything in between, get ready for a conscious conversation about love in the modern world. Get ready for Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D.
Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D is brought to you in part by the Cool Change Foundation, a nonprofit corporation dedicated to carrying a message of recovery, positive evolution, motivation, and life enhancement so that you can help yourself to a better tomorrow. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D, where we take a modern approach to dating and relationships. We're your place to get helpful advice and tips, whether you're in a relationship right now or looking to find one. My name is Damona Hoffman, but I also go by Dear Mrs. D, and I'm here to address your deepest dating questions and give you the right relationship advice for your situation. The topic for today, creating the magic in your love life. We'll be talking to experts who help people find or enhance their love lives in non-traditional ways. Our first guest is Ariel Joseph Towne. He is a Feng Shui expert and life coach with an international client list and author of the brand new book, Serene Makeover Inner Edition, Feng Shui Your Life from the Inside Out. Hey, Ariel, you ready to get us all shuied out?
Absolutely.
All right, sit tight and we'll kick off the conversation in just a moment. Thanks to all of you for joining us on coolchangeradio.com, dearmrsd.com, and on Facebook. You can always catch our recent shows on all of those sites, plus get free dating tips and watch clips of Dear Mrs. D's other recent appearances at youtube.com/dearmrsd. Later, Leanne Marrama will be joining us by phone from Salem, Massachusetts. She's a sorceress and psychic who knows a thing or two about making magic and love. Then at the end of the show, we'll open up the lines for your questions, so stay tuned. Okay. Ariel has helped people from all walks of life, from small businesses to large corporations, single mothers to growing families, struggling artists to A-list celebrities. Ariel's contributed feng shui advice for books in books for HarperCollins, Penguin, and a New York Times best-selling series, 1 Year to an Organized Life. I think I need that book. Now he's written his own book. It's called Serene Makeover Inner Edition, and it shows you how to feng shui your life from the inside out. Joining us now on Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D here on the Cool Change Radio and TV Network is the Feng Shui Guy, Ariel Joseph Towne.
Hi, Damona.
Hi, thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So you have been a feng shui consultant for many years.
Yes.
How did you get started doing it?
Well, it's interesting. You know, I think the simple answer is that I moved into an apartment that I couldn't afford. And I ended up asking a woman who I'd gone to for chiropractic and nutritional advice how to figure out how to manifest enough to support what I wanted to accomplish in my life. And she said, I think it's time to call the feng shui master. And I was like, what's that? And next thing I knew, I had this little Hawaiian man sitting on my floor. He was like my personal Yoda, and he was talking me through my space and making suggestions on things to purchase and where to place things. And I don't know, he recommended a bunch of books and magazines, and I devoured them all, and I started this journey. So
let's back up a step,
Sure.
Because I'm sure there are people watching that are saying, even now, are saying, what the heck is feng shui?
Yeah.
Can you give it to us in layperson's terms?
Sure. I mean, feng shui is really just a fancy way of saying your environment impacting you. Mm-hmm. It's technically a Chinese term, and it means wind, water. And for thousands of years, people have been studying how our environment impacts us. So a lot of people built their cities based on the most auspicious way to live. And it wasn't based on magic per se. At the time, it was, well, if we build our home here, the winds won't affect us. If we build our home here, then we'll have access to water. So it was really practical. And what happened is it got steeped in cultural tradition and superstition, and over time it's made its way here to the United States. But what I love about it is I've been spending the last 10 or 12 years researching where it crosses over to every culture on the planet. So my favorite thing is to find out, I see its similarity in all these different traditions, and that's when it makes me feel like it's backed up, when it feels like there is actually a science to this art form. And nowadays, what's really kind of cool is that neuroscience and biology is catching up to these ancient feng shui principles. And that's where I really started to get intrigued and moved it from a thing of, I don't know why it works, it's just seemingly magical, into the science behind the magic.
So it's not just moving your stuff around, because I know that's what a lot of people think. Like, I'll just change my bed position and put paint my wall this color, and I'm feng shuied. It's not about that, right?
Well, I would say
it?
that for a lot of people it is. I mean, there's a lot of books out there on feng shui.
Yeah.
And when I first started reading them, some of them were contradictory, which led me to understand that there are many different approaches to what feng shui means. My definition is probably broader and more expanded than most people's, because I'm really interested not only in the external environments, which would go, to what colors you're surrounded by, which affects our emotions and affects how we feel in a space, to the position of a bed, which can sometimes affect how our brains work or whether or not our fight or flight reflex gets activated. I mean, there's all these different principles to it, but I actually also think our inner house is just as important. So the thoughts that we think, the nutrition, how we exercise, whether or not we're rested, those all have a huge impact on us. And those are our environments as well.
So we're here talking about relationships. So let's jump into that. You talk about needing to be a solid number one before you can be a number two. What does this mean exactly?
Well, it means a couple different things. In feng shui, there are different areas of your space that might correlate to different parts of your life. That's definitely what you were talking about earlier. Where do I put my stuff? What colors do I paint things? And the fame area relates to the number one. Fame is not just about being famous. It's about how you want to be seen in the world. But to me, that's like that scene in The Matrix where Neo goes to see, the Oracle. He's sitting there and the kid's next to him and he's like bending spoons with his mind, and the kid's like, there's really no spoon. It's you that must bend. To me, that's the fame area. It's about how you see yourself in the world. And when that changes, the way everyone treats you changes, as we've seen throughout history. So before you can be a two, unless you're satisfied with a codependent relationship or satisfied with a relationship where you're allowing someone else or something else to determine how you feel about yourself, that's why I recommend being a solid one before you expand and become a two.
That's good advice.
Thanks.
So internally, you talk about internal and external principles in feng shui.
Yeah.
Internally, you talk about getting clear in your life and declaring what you want. How does someone do that?
Gosh, that's a great question. There are probably a lot of different answers, and I don't think you can get it wrong. I mean, I'm a big fan of just appreciating that this whole thing is a process and realizing that even a bad date probably leads us closer to a good one. So I don't think you can get it wrong. Rather than fearing making a misstep, I'd say go out there and learn to date yourself. Like really understand what turns you on. What do you like? If somebody was going to bring you flowers, well, what kind do you love? Not just ones you see in movies or in pictures, but go out and smell them. Go to the farmer's market. And I think if you really understand yourself, you can communicate that with someone else.
So if I know what kind of flowers I like and I sort of meditate on that, will I get those kind of flowers?
Well, what I would do is take action on it. I love the meditating part, but what I would do is I would once a week bring home fresh flowers and bring them home
to myself.
To yourself.
Wow.
So that you smell them, so you look at them, so you understand what it feels like to have flowers brought into your home, and do that until someone else takes over the job.
Wow. That's I've never actually heard that advice.
Oh, cool.
So I've heard about like making space in your own life, but in terms of like giving yourself flowers, I guess, does that make you feel better or does it make you feel sad that the flowers are sitting there and they're from you?
I think probably if it happened in perpetuity, one of two things would happen. You'd either really love that you do that for yourself and you'd come from love, or you'd look at it to represent all the things you don't have. And I think that's the choice we get.
Well, I think it's important to also not just be in a relationship, like you said, think about the kind of flowers you want and the person that's bringing them to you.
Yeah.
It's also very important to get clear on the kind of person that you want to meet. So I heard, I have to tell the story, but I heard Oprah say once, if someone tells you who they are the first time, believe them, don't make them prove it to you again and again.
I love that.
You have a similar theory about stating your desires. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. What I would say is that I finally figured out that I think my New York accent just came out, figured out. I finally figured out that what I asked for, I got. And I realized that I was playing small. And I realized that I was at a certain point saying, well, I'm not just looking for a relationship. I'm looking for a long-term relationship. I'm looking for a committed relationship. So then I got that one. And then at a certain point, I realized, well, my big vision has always been a family. And in order to have family for me, I wanted to be married. Right. So I started to say out loud, I want a wife. I want a wife. So when I started dating, I started to articulate that early on. And I know a lot of times earlier in my life, I would have been petrified. I didn't want to offend someone, or what if I turned them off and they went running away? Mm-hmm. But then I realized that's probably a good thing. Not that they go running away, but that they...
Do you tell them on the first date, like, just so you know, I want a wife?
Sure.
Wow.
Sure.
And you're married now.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
She didn't run away when you said that.
No.
Awesome.
In fact, we had been friends for a long time, and it was partly because of a lunch that we had. We both were finally single at the same time, and we were in New York, and it was one of those magical days. And we were both talking about what we specifically wanted out of the big picture of our lives. And because of the work we'd both done on ourselves and both had clarity about what that was, it was really like meeting a kindred. It was like, oh, wow, we kind of want the same thing. And I'm not saying that the whiskey at lunch didn't help, but I'm just saying that it was really cool to hear that back.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you have some simple things that the people at home could do to sort of shake up their chi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe give me one little tiny, short little tip right now.
Sure.
For someone that's single, what's one thing they can do today?
I'd say look around and see what you're advertising. I would say if you were a person who didn't know who lived there and you walked in, would you say a male or a female lived there? Okay. Are they single in a relationship? See if you can spot the ones.
This is interesting. When we come back, Ariel will share some tips about what to do in the bedroom to bring some passion. If you're looking to find some passion, or you want to crank up the volume if you and your partner need a boost. So stay tuned. Tired of going to bars, signing up for dating sites, doing mindless speed dates? We might have some new ideas for you to find someone special. I'm here with the Feng Shui Guy, Ariel Joseph Towne. This is Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D on Cool Change Radio.
Today, experience The Quick Fix, a simple process for positive change. Written by Bradley Quick, author, producer, motivational speaker, and host of the award-winning radio talk show, The Quick Fix with Bradley Quick on CoolChangeRadio.com. Bradley's passion for life is evident in his book, written so you can experience health, find your purpose, and have more effective relationships. Beating insurmountable odds, overcoming death, and being paralyzed, Bradley fought his way back so he could help you conquer your struggles. Experience increased health, vitality, passion, and purpose in your life right now with The Quick Fix, and read about Bradley's courage, ambition, and determination to live. Whether the issue is your thoughts, your physical body, or you just want to feel better and be happy, The Quick Fix, a simple process for positive change, will change your life. For only $19.95 plus shipping and handling. Take positive action now and receive a free guided meditation CD with your order. That's a $20 value free with your order today. Go to BradleyQuick.com. That's BradleyQuick.com. Take control and begin feeling better now. Get the book and free CD now at BradleyQuick.com.
We're talking love in the modern world. This is Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D.
This has never been attempted before by any treatment center, ever. Seasons Malibu is willing to take the risk because they understand quality care and evidence-based long-term recovery. Pay for only 3 months of treatment and stay until you are better, period. I'll say that one more time. Pay for only 3 months of treatment and stay until you are better. Enough is enough. Seasons Malibu wants to count your days of recovery, not the dollars in your pocket. No gimmicks, no guarantees, just straightforward world-class treatment until you are better. Do not hesitate. Call now. Seasons Malibu, 866-780-8539, 866-780-8539. That's Seasons Malibu at www.seasonsmalibu.com or 866-780-8539, 866-780-8539. For a free consultation and details, 866-780-8539.
Welcome back. You're listening to Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D on Cool Change Radio, your home for self-improvement and a place for positive change. This show is brought to you by DearMrsD.com. Looking for love in all the wrong places? Get the secrets for finding the love of your life from someone who did. That's me. Whether you need help creating a sexy online profile, getting over first date jitters, or keeping relationships going long-term, Dear Mrs. D has something for you. Visit the website, sign up for the newsletter, get a copy of the book, D is for Dating, or just contact Mrs. D, and I'm there for you. So for those of you just joining us on Cool Change Radio, Remember, you can listen to this show again or to hundreds of hours of other self-discovery content anytime you want by simply going to bradleyquick.com, www.bradleyquick.com. There you can also sign up for a weekly radio show email reminder. And once a week, you'll receive the most recent interviews in the comfort of your own home or office, and you can listen at your convenience. So make sure not to miss your favorite authors, experts, or personalities. So our first guest for today is Ariel Joseph Towne, the Feng Shui Guy. He developed a TV show with the Sci-Fi Channel about his work. He has had his own show on Sirius Satellite Radio, and he's appeared in dozens of TV, radio, and magazine stories. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Ariel Joseph Towne, life coach, feng shui consultant, author of a new book, Serene Makeover Inner Edition. What don't you do?
Oh, certain things around the house. There's certain things I need to call for
I'm
help.
sure I could ask your wife what those things are. So before the break, we told viewers that we would share some tips on getting their bedroom ready for love. So let's start on the perimeter and work inward, the walls.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it all right to have pictures up? And like, what do the pictures that we put up say in the bedroom? Like, is that weird to have pictures of grandma? I don't have pictures of my grandma, but I mean other people.
I think there's the time and a place to honor our family, and I certainly am a big fan of having those kind of pictures in the house.
Sure.
But in the bedroom, I really don't see the point. Because, the only two eyes I want looking at me is the person I'm in bed with. I really don't want anybody else's eyes. I don't want pictures of children. I don't want Jesus looking down on me, judging what I'm doing. I don't want grandma. You know what I mean?
That gets really weird. You got 4 eyes on you.
Yeah. Or a wall of family pictures.
Yeah.
So I think...
But, some people live in an apartment and they don't have other spaces that they can put up pictures of loved ones. You just say in the bedroom, no.
Even in a studio apartment, the biggest challenge that I have is how to make sure there's a dedicated area for a specific activity.
Ah, okay.
And so I don't mind if it's near where you eat, where you meditate, where you play piano, if it's in the bathroom, on the hallway, wherever it is. But right above the bed might not be suiting you because what you look at has an impact psychologically, and then it affects your mood and your energy. And so you want to look at romantic things. You want to look at passionate things.
Oh. So you mentioned briefly, like, if someone has a studio apartment, how do they separate? You said there's an area for everything. Do you put up curtains, or do you just kind of mentally say this is the space for X and this is the space for Y?
I've seen both done. I think the biggest feng shui challenge is public space versus private space. So I don't tend to like when you walk into someone's apartment and the first thing you see is the bed. Because what are you selling? I mean, unless it's like, it's the red light district.
Some people are selling that, Ariel.
Well, and if that's working for them, I'm not judging. But what I am saying is I tend to like to be invited into someone's bedroom.
Got it.
So whether there's a curtain up or a bookshelf with some plants, or whether it's just open and it's like, over here is where I eat. Over here is where I work. Over there is where I get naked. Any one of those things works.
Sometimes it could be all 3 of those spaces.
It's true.
What about the color? I've heard various things about the color of a room having a scientific impact on how you feel, or what the purpose of the space should be.
Yeah, it's interesting. They say that certain babies get colicky in front of certain colors, so there's palettes that are really good for
yellow
deep rest.
Or something, right?
Anything bright, sort of maybe reds and bright, loud colors, yang colors, probably affect whether or not someone feels peaceful. So the bedroom is for what purpose? It's for rest and play. So I tend to like to have the option of it feeling yin and dark and sensual, but I tend to also like there to be a splash of color, some sort of passion color. And if you're not a pink person, that's fine. You can use red and white, but some people use oranges. Some people use, deep sensual purples. Whatever you think is a passion-inducing color, something that if you wore it, you'd get attention, or if you wore it underneath, you'd feel sexy.
Huh. So you've also mentioned in the past activating the 5 senses in the bedroom. Is color a part of that, or is that smell, taste, sound? How do you do that?
All of the above. D. All of the above. Or E. I don't know.
Sorry, I didn't give you the letter.
No, it's great. I think that when you walk in and it smells like last week's cheeseburger, that's probably going to have an effect on someone. So if you're in college, you can probably tolerate it. You can probably hold your nose and get it on. But as adults...
Oh, there were times, Ariel. There were times.
I just have a feeling that it makes it more pleasurable if every one of your senses is activated. This is the reason for things like breathing exercises and tantra and connecting us with other people. It's to activate the way we are connected to our body or activate our connection to our breath. In that same sense, if smell-wise it smells pleasant and, it's non-toxic, hopefully, but it's, an aromatherapy candle, fresh flowers, something sensual burning, lighting, I've always heard lighting and lip gloss are the two secrets to a good relationship from a woman's side. So I'd say
I've got the lip gloss on. How's it
nice.
working?
It's great. I can't take my eyes off your lips. It's definitely working.
It's blinding you.
Yeah.
The light reflecting.
But I'd also say that, it sounds, music, as opposed to hearing neighbors humping or animals or traffic or something else.
You totally went there.
I did. Because I've lived in New York. So New York Shui has its own special breed of cures. But I feel like if every sense gets activated, why not bring in something delicious to sip on or something delicious to taste? Honey, chocolate, whipped cream, fresh fruit,
Just be careful about where you put it. That's all I'm going to say. So some of our listeners are couples, not all singles. What about for couples? Like, for example, my husband and I have a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
What do we do to spice it up in the bedroom when we've been together almost 10 years and there's a little child next door?
Well, I think making space for. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like when you bring in another life, whether it be a child, children, or an animal, it's going to get in the way. It's going to at times get in the way. And that's sort of the point. The point is to help raise a life. But making space for, putting boundaries around quality time, baths, dates, date nights. And then within the bedroom, you can do stuff with color like we talked about, either scene with artwork, instead of just having pictures of your beautiful family. With the three of you, maybe have that outdoors in public space, but in private space, make sure there's pictures of the honeymoon, the dating, the courtship, the sexy romantic stuff. And it doesn't matter if you have a red sheet that we see or a red sheet in between the mattress and box spring, but that color vibration will hopefully affect the amount and the level of energy.
I had a feng shui consultant once tell me to put like a red bra and panties underneath my bed.
It's funny because in feng shui it's all about pairs. So it is a pair of panties.
Panties.
So why not? I mean, seeing it on the
bra
floor.
has a pair. Anyway. Okay, so now we're talking about my relationship.
It's good.
But since we are, and I already called my family out. My husband always seems to be on his computer. Like the moment he wakes up, he's got his iPhone next to him, and his computer right away. First thing when he wakes up, and last thing when he goes to bed.
Yeah.
You've talked about a theory called bedroom diseases, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is this a bedroom disease that he's suffering from?
Yeah.
How do we cure it?
The bedroom disease could either be labeled as the work disease, like I can't unplug.
Yeah.
So I bring in files, I bring in laptops, I bring in my PDA, and I need to constantly check just one more email, and then I'll get there. But it could also be a technology problem. Some people are addicted to seeing what's going on out there. In sports, in the news, making sure that I'm kept up to date.
Yeah.
And so we have a technology-free bedroom. What that basically means is nothing within a 15-foot radius of the bed. And part of that is because of what I think is a really important thing to be aware of, which is the long-term effects of electromagnetic frequency from radiation and cell phone towers and all these, Wi-Fi. And we just don't know the full extent of it. So we just think that the world...
feng shui here.
Yeah. So we just leave it outside. I mean, we watch TV. You can watch whatever you want. I mean, I generally recommend the hour before bed being for something that you want to do in the bed. So romantic comedies, porn, something that makes you laugh, but maybe not criminal intent, maybe not SVU, maybe not the news.
Unless you have other plans for your spouse.
Yes, which we shouldn't talk about on the radio. But I feel like whatever you take in through your senses in that last hour is going to have a huge impact. So maybe you go take a shower, maybe you take a bath, maybe you read, maybe you do something you don't normally do just to transition. And so we don't have anything in the bedroom except for some Himalayan rock salt lamps, which might sound out there, but they're when they heat up, they bring in negative ions, which are found in nature, and they help us with relaxation and anxiety, and it really helps on a lot of levels.
I've never heard of a Himalayan salt lamp.
Bring in the magic.
I'll try it out. Just real briefly, if you can answer for me, what if someone lives in a house with another person that they're not in a relationship with? Could their chi be affecting could it affect you?
Heck yeah. I mean,
Yeah?
the thing is a lot of the books you'll read are about luck. Like Feng Shui is about luck. And it's good luck to live on a street with a church, a school, a synagogue, a bank. Good luck to absorb that mojo. And it's not good to be near a graveyard or a prison or a nuclear reactor or something like that, literally or
Wow.
figuratively, to absorb that energy.
Yeah.
So if you are living with someone who's Debbie Downer or someone who is in an unhealthy relationship or someone who kind of feels like an energy vampire, you always feel a little bit like you're wasted, tired, and drained after you spend time with them, that could be having an impact on you. And it's really important to set boundaries and maybe put a buffer between you and them, even if it's, like I said, music or, eventually asking them to move out or putting live things in your space. That can help counterbalance some of that negativity too.
Great. So if people want to hear more from you, they should go to www.thefengshuiguy.com. That's thefengshuiguy.com. We need to go to commercial, but when we come back, we'll be talking to a very interesting person, Leanne Marrama. She's a Salem sorceress and psychic. And after that, you'll have Ariel and I answering your questions from home. You can post them on Dear Mrs. D's Facebook wall. That's facebook.com/Dear Mrs. D, or call in later.
There are self-help seminars costing thousands of dollars guaranteeing miraculous transformations. There are compelling speakers and life-changing weekend experiences where you can walk on fire. They all deliver revelations that guarantee you'll come back for the more expensive revelations filled with even greater wonder next month on Fiji. We get addicted to positive, heartfelt, expensive theater. What we really need is a jumpstart, an awakening, someone who can give us a reminder that everything we need lies within. Through inspiration and practical knowledge, Dorothy Donahue helps people get grounded and motivated, inspired and energized. It's not just words and affirmations and the power of intention. It's a mindset brought about by a tangible, transcendental experience, an audio-visual, physical, spiritual experience that helps us realize we transform ourselves. We get tools to become the conscious co-creators of lives of unlimited potential. Find out more. Go to DorothyDonahue.com.
Don't touch that dial. This is Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D.
I'm Melody Beattie, author of Codependent No More. 7 times more Americans have hepatitis C than AIDS. I'm one of them. If you're one of the millions of Americans with hepatitis C and your doctors are treating you with interferon, then you're clearly aware of how your life has been turned horribly upside down. Backed by huge pharmaceutical monies, the medical community swears there's only one dangerous, disabling way to battle this silent killer. It's not true. There are alternatives, and they work. Triumph Over Hepatitis C is a book written by best-selling author Lloyd Wright, who fully recovered from this frightening disease. Lloyd is helping others to take charge of their lives and fight for their body's freedom from this crippling illness. His program is working for me. Call the people at Hepatitis C Free now at 866-HEP-C-FREE. That's 866-HEP-C-FREE. Don't become another medical statistic. Find out the truth about hepatitis C and get your life back.
Get your copy of Triumph Over Hepatitis C at Barnes & Noble and at hepatitiscfree.com. Call 866-HEP-C-FREE.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to Cool Change Radio, your home for self-improvement and a place to find your passion and purpose. I'm Dear Mrs. D, and we're talking about doing something different with your dating life. We're going to be talking to a new guest in a moment, Leanne Marrama, but I'm in the studio right now with the Feng Shui Guy, Ariel Joseph Towne. We've been talking about dating in the modern world via Feng Shui. So while we get Leanne on the phone for us, I'm going to ask a couple more questions of Ariel. So we were talking about bedroom diseases, right?
Yeah.
We talked about technology. Are there other bedroom diseases that people have?
Yeah, I've seen them all. I've seen
Other
a
than
lot.
the STDs and that sort of thing.
Right, we're not talking about those kind. We're talking
Yeah.
about anything that interferes with the purpose of the bedroom, right? So what we do have is we have things like exercise equipment, tie boat tape, stretchy bands, and you're thinking, God, just 50 more crunches and then I can get in bed. Well, that might keep you from feeling confident or connecting to the person you're with. So there's lots of different things that range from too many boxes of shoes, clothes on the floor, all those different things can play to different types of diseases.
Oh my gosh, I think I might have a bedroom disease. I found a bag today that had an old banana in it. And it was, I don't even know why I'm telling you this right now, but I was so grossed out. I felt like, it was like black and disgusting. I'm being told that we do have Leanne on the line right now.
Great.
All right, we're going to put her through. She has been seen on What Not to Wear, the Travel Channel, CBS, NBC, and the Dish Network. She's also been featured in the Boston Globe, the Salem News, and she can be found at the Omen store in Salem, Massachusetts. Leanne, do we have you on the line?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Our connection's
wonderful.
a little fuzzy, but we'll see what we can do to fix that. So we'll plow through. So you identify as a witch and a sorceress, correct? Is that correct? Do we have you, Leanne?
I've got a really bad connection.
I know. You know what? Maybe we should patch you through again.
Yeah, I'm gonna look.
I think that's in the studio end. Can you hear me, Leanne?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. So you identify as a witch and a sorceress. Is that correct?
Yes, I am a witch and a sorceress.
What exactly does that mean?
Go ahead.
What
I can hear myself.
What exactly does that mean, and what's the difference between the two for the people listening?
To be a witch, all right, is somebody who uses magic, and the same thing as sorceress. I would say I identify more with the sorceress because I use magic to manipulate and create change.
I think we lost Leanne, but we'll try and get her back in a moment. So Ariel, we were talking about bedroom diseases.
Mm-hmm.
That just sounds so.
The good thing is, you just get a shot and you're better. I mean, the thing is it really is about setting boundaries and making space.
Yeah.
And to me, the biggest thing in Feng Shui in this day and age is what is the purpose of the room that you're in? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, psychologically and emotionally and energetically, we're all entwined. Let's say you go to a dining room table, right? And you sit down to eat, and you eat that same place every day. Your body knows what's about to happen, right? So in that same sense, biologically, if you start doing a different activity there, like checking email, your body doesn't know where to send the energy. Does it send it to the brain or does it send it to the stomach to digest? So let's apply that same principle to the bedroom. If you know when you go into the bedroom you want your clothes to come off, then all of a sudden if you start bringing in other things like, shopping or exercise or work, your body doesn't know what to prepare for. So it's really important to be consistent with the activities that you want to accomplish. So setting boundaries around what we do where really matters.
What about pets? Like, do pets factor into Feng Shui?
The great thing about pets is that they stir up chi. They run around, they move energy around. That's great.
Right.
But if you're single and your bed is occupied with another creature, it might be keeping you from welcoming in someone else. It might be a way of staying safe and protected, but it might not be opening you up to love. So all of your love is already entwined with an animal, with a creature. The same way that Carmelite nuns are married sort of to God. You know, it's like you shut that part of you down in a way and you're getting your needs fulfilled. So there's a guy named David Data. I don't know if you're familiar with him as an author, but he talks a lot about polarity and the necessary different anchorings of different energies in a relationship.
Right.
And so he talks about people that are very type A and active and work a lot. They can get their feminine essence energy from surfing and they don't need it from a relationship. So whether you move to Hawaii or you go surfing, if you want to be in a relationship and you're taking out your polarity through those actions, then it might be keeping you from calling in someone who balances you. In that same sense, I think that animals can sometimes keep us from, what it is that we seek. So how do you find a harmony with that?
What about stuffed animals?
Oh my gosh, that's another disease. It's sort of like the Peter Pan disease. Like on some level, am I ready to grow up?
Yeah.
So I think it's great to honor stuff from our past. But my biggest challenge is people usually take me on a tour of the museum of their life. They show me where they've been and what they've accomplished and who they know and what stuff they have. And everything they have has a story to it. But I don't know if the calling in love is associated necessarily with a stuffed animal.
That's probably true. I think we have Leanne back on the line. We're going to try to put her through again. Leanne? Leanne, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, much better. Thank you so much for joining us. We have,
it's great to be here.
Great. We have Leanne Marrama, who's a sorceress and psychic, and is calling us from Salem, Massachusetts. So you do a lot of work, Leanne, with love. If someone is single and they're looking to call in love into their life, are there some simple? Is there such a thing as a love spell?
Absolutely, and you put it the perfect way. When you're trying to do a love spell, I generally don't like to work at specifics. I like to let the universe help make the choices with me. But there is a love spell to help speed that, help make attraction, and help turn that eye right onto you so you can draw love and the best suited love for you. Because I think the best place to start with finding love is loving yourself. It's kind of like rearranging your thought process that you're worthy of it.
So true. We were just talking about that earlier, how you really have to be a solid number one before you can be a number two. So loving yourself is first.
It is. It does come first. So I usually tell people the first step is to begin a ritual for yourself. And it starts with a cleansing bath. And in that bath should be sea salt.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little rose oil, all right? And lavender to help calm you down. A little rosemary for protection, because when you're putting yourself out there, you do need protection. You don't want to put your heart out there right on the line. But you also want to turn up the sex, and there's nothing wrong with feeling attractive and beautiful and feeling sexy.
It's interesting.
Get that.
We're here also with Ariel Joseph Towne, the Feng Shui Guy. It's interesting because you guys are saying similar things, but Feng Shui is not witchcraft. Is that? Can I say that?
No, it's a science.
I feel like I'm trying to be
what's
PC.
What it feels like they both have in common is intention.
Okay.
Yeah, they both. It's all about being clear on what you want and what intentions you're putting out in there in the world. What about for couples, Leanne? What issues do you see coming up the most for them, and how do you help them overcome those challenges?
Communication. There are simple things like a yellow candle. A yellow candle, the color yellow, will help enforce communication. Because if you cannot talk to your partner, if you cannot share with your partner, you have nothing. And once again, you have to love yourself as much as that partner. You have to be careful of the lines of obsession. So, looking in the mirror every day with a partner and just saying, I am beautiful, is in itself magic. You're projecting for it. You're creating a healthy atmosphere for yourself, but you're also tuning in to the universe and letting them know that you want to work on your relationship. I'm in a relationship currently, and we do magic together to split our relationship. We'll start with pink and yellow candles, and we'll burn them together. We'll share a nice bottle of wine, generally something sweet, symbolizing sweet with relationship. We'll share chocolates, which chocolates itself, and that's an aphrodisiac.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And it's been heralded as a magical substance for years, chocolate.
Yeah.
But we'll write on a piece of paper what we hope to learn about each other. And in the process of hoping to learn for each other, what we'll do is we'll write on a piece of paper and we'll read it to each other and then burn it and project for it and project and work at it. We come from an era where everything is disposable. Write down, everything can be thrown away. Relationships can't. If you value a relationship, work at it. Going through that difficult time, you need balance. You need a bad time to have a good day.
Oh, absolutely. So doing those rituals, does someone have to be a witch or practice witchcraft to do those sort of rituals, or can anyone start to do some of these things?
Absolutely. Anyone out there can do that. If you want more love in your life, you get that red candle, you write your own name on it, and you ask the universe, bring into my life someone most suited for me, not somebody who wants. sometimes the things we want aren't the things that are good for us. What we need to do is open our eyes to all different possibilities.
I totally agree with you, Leanne. I'd love to talk with you a little bit more after the break. We were going to go to questions, but we're just getting into the good stuff. So can you stick with us for a few minutes?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great.
Absolutely.
And make a note, you can listen to this show again on youtube.com/Dear Mrs. D. Stay put, you're in the right place. We are going to be coming back with more of Ariel Joseph Towne in the hot seat, answering questions for you, and Leanne Marrama calling us from Salem, Mass.
Quality goods for less from Bag City, serving all of Reno, Denver, Las Vegas, Bakersfield, Salt Lake City, Los Angeles, and many more cities. Up to 70% below retail on everything. Coin purses, wallets, organizers, purses, briefcases, backpacks, travel and garment bags, and ladies' and men's leather jackets. All discounted, all up to 70% below retail. Bag City, the best for less? Bag City serving all of Reno, Denver, Las Vegas, Bakersfield, Salt Lake City, Los Angeles, and many more cities. Contact Bag City at 818-990-1795. That's Bag City, quality goods for less money. Bag City, where 15% of all sales go to local charities. You can't beat that. You help local charities while getting quality goods at up to 70% below retail. Contact Bag City now at 818-990-1795. Contact Bag City today and get quality goods for less money. That's 818-990-1795. Shop Bag City to save. Shop Bag City for charity. Bag City, 818-990-1795.
We'll be back in a moment with more Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D.
Today, experience The Quick Fix, a simple process for positive change. Written by Bradley Quick, author, producer, motivational speaker, and host of the award-winning radio talk show, The Quick Fix with Bradley Quick on CoolChangeRadio.com. Bradley's passion for life is evident in his book, written so you can experience health, find your purpose, and have more effective relationships. Beating insurmountable odds, overcoming death, and being paralyzed, Bradley fought his way back so he could help you conquer your struggles. Experience increased health, vitality, passion, and purpose in your life right now with The Quick Fix, and read about Bradley's courage, ambition, and determination to live. Whether the issue is your thoughts, your physical body, or you just want to feel better and be happy, The Quick Fix, a simple process for positive change, will change your life. For only $19.95 plus shipping and handling. Take positive action now and receive a free guided meditation CD with your order. That's a $20 value free with your order today. Go to BradleyQuick.com. That's BradleyQuick.com. Take control and begin feeling better now. Get the book and free CD now at BradleyQuick.com.
Joining us once again are two people who create magic in people's lives, Ariel Towne, the Feng Shui Guy, and Leanne Marrama, a psychic and sorceress who's joining us from Salem. Remember that you can get clips of all your favorite shows on BradleyQuick.com. You can watch us every Friday live at CoolChangeRadio.com, and make sure you're following us on Facebook and on YouTube. We're going to be taking your questions in a moment, but for now we'll be talking to Leanne Marrama. Now, Leanne, I'd love to talk to you about your psychic gifts. You talked a little bit about casting spells and finding love that way. How did you find that you had psychic abilities?
When I was very young, this sounds very funny, but in my Easter basket, my mother gave me a deck of tarot cards. This is back when I was 10. My mother also read the playing deck. Not too many people read that now, but she used to read the cards off of a regular playing deck. And then that's not to say I come from a long line of witches. I come from a very Catholic upbringing with very intuitive women and who are very psychic. But over the years, I met people, and I started doing the cards regularly. I met two gentlemen, Christian Day and Sean Poirier, and that kind of guided me to be working with them in Salem. That was something I always wanted to project for myself, and then I found that I'd been doing it now. Kind of look back on myself, I've been doing it now for over 10 years.
And people can get an in-person reading with you at Omen if they happen to be in the Salem area, or they can call psychicsforhire.com, www.psychicsforhire.com. Okay, great. I'm going to be calling in. What's that?
I hope you do. I mean, the thing.
Are you reading me right now?
Kind of. You know, you got stuff here, your aura. We'll talk.
I'm too scared to do a reading right now. But, you know, I've actually heard that everyone is psychic to some extent. Is there a way for our listeners to tap into their own intuition in dating?
Oh, absolutely. We are all psychic, just like everyone can sing if you practice it. And if your listeners, if you guys start reading and getting your own cards out, meditating, focusing on the little things that are unseen, you will truly, truly be able to know who the right person is. You'll be able to, get those feelings. The thing with us is we get all those warning signs that it's the wrong guy or the wrong girl way in the beginning, but we ignore it because we allow emotion to come in. You have to think before you make decisions. And, tune into yourself. You'll know your own body cues. If you'll know. They tell you. People's auras in themselves, you can feel it. So before you make that phone call or check out that profile or, hit like on somebody, hey, really look at their eyes. That's the window of the soul,
Totally.
And you are every person out there has a little bit of witch in them, has a lot of magic in them, and they all have the ability to see and know. And the difference between being psychic and being a witch is being psychic, you can see a path. But being a witch, I feel that we can change it. We can help you to get back on the path. You are not. No one is destined to be alone. There is truly someone out there, and you always have to focus. You may have heard that this is your soulmate. This is your soulmate. Well, maybe we have more than one soulmate in our life.
Oh, I agree
Maybe
with that.
Ended the relationship. Maybe that relationship ended and was there. A lot of us get heartbroken when people leave us, or, they pass over, or a relationship ends, and you don't want to get out of bed because you think you're done. You're not done. There is hope out there. Maybe you had those children with that man because...
Find your new man.
I
love that advice. I love that advice, Leanne. Thank you so much for joining us. You're just so bright and wonderful, and honestly, I can't wait to get my reading with you. So if you want to talk to Leanne, make sure you go to psychicsforhire.com. That's psychics with an S for hire.com. Thank you, Leanne. We'll hopefully have you again on another show. I'm still here with Ariel Joseph Towne, the Feng Shui Guy, and we're going to be answering your questions live on the Cool Change Radio Network. Our phone lines are now open for your questions, so you can call us at 818-824-9123. That's 818-824-9123. And remember, you can post questions anytime, right now or during the week on a future show, for me or for my guest on my Facebook wall. That's Dating Expert Dear Mrs. D. You can find that at facebook.com/Dear Mrs. D. And while you're there, make sure to like the page so you can join in the dating conversation. So we actually got a couple of questions in before the show. So I have one here from Shayna from Texas. She says that she's dating this guy, and she thinks it's okay to text other girls and pretend that he's interested in them. He's also on Plenty of Fish, the dating website, and he says he loves me, but his kids tell me everything that he does, and it doesn't seem to match. So I know you're a life coach as well as a Feng Shui consultant. What would you say to this client?
Well, it's interesting because in Feng Shui we have this phrase, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And to me, the biggest challenge is regarding two principles, the principle of integrity and the principle of win-win. So if what he's doing feels like it's in integrity, then sounds like a great person to make him build a foundation with. If it doesn't feel like that, then maybe it's involving a conversation where his actions could be invited to become a win-win. If he has the need to, have a certain amount of freedom as a man in the world, there is a certain amount of freedom that we can give our partners within a relationship structure that makes it feel like a win for all parties involved. So instead of it feeling like it's a win-lose, because currently it seems like it's making her feel uncomfortable, that's the biggest thing I would address, is not making or settling for a win-lose. Great advice. I also have a question from Facebook. A lady named Katie says, I'm ready to commit to my relationship further,
on a more deeper spiritual level. I know her partner, has to be ready, but how do I incorporate Feng Shui into the matter to ease the transition?
I really think
Talking about a little magic there.
Yeah, if she listens back to the advice we just got from our friend out in Salem, that actually could be really good. The biggest thing is, I think there's different types of magic out there. I think there's magic that feels like magic where you're trying to change somebody else, and magic where you're trying to empower yourself. And what I loved about what she was saying about certain candles and intentions is she's really trying to empower herself. Now, in this spiritual realm, I feel like you can invite someone to join you, but you can never make them join you. In Feng Shui, it's always about the highest good for all people involved. So if she does any sort of action and she includes spirituality in her vision board or has an altar where she makes offerings in her home with intention, just make sure that includes spirituality. But just keep in mind, we're not trying to change somebody else's destiny. We're not trying to change somebody else. There's no spoon. It's us that must bend.
Ooh, I like the way you say that. There's no spoon. It's us that must bend. So I'm told that we have actually someone on the phone with us today.
Great. Brave caller.
I'm not sure if the people at home are seeing our video right now, but we're still here and we're still chatting. So stay with us. Putting through our caller right now.
Great.
Hi. You're on with Dear Mrs.
Hi.
D and with the Feng Shui Guy, Ariel Joseph Towne. Who's this?
This is Olivia.
Hey, Olivia. What's your question for today?
Okay, actually not a question. I wanted to let Ariel know that I like his style.
Thanks so
was
much.
talking a little bit. I'll cut this down a little bit but I won't be able to hear you unless I can hear you through the phone.
Same radio rules, yes.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask him about whether or not there's a shutdown in my energy with my animal. I do have a tendency to spend a lot of time toward the dog, and it's a dog, and it's an older dog. I just wanted to see what he had to say about whether or not I'm letting my energy shut down with the dog. I have around me is animal. My Feng Shui is all animal print, and I really my place, and it's really nice to walk in.
All right, let me get Ariel to answer your question. So you seem like you're so committed to your dog that maybe you're not making the space in your life to commit to someone else.
Hi, Olivia. Thanks so much for your great question. I think that the thing about animals is that they really do nourish us. It's almost like an emotional tree. We give off all of our stress and worry and anxiety, and they give us back unconditional love. And it's a really symbiotic, beautiful relationship. The question is whether or not you're over committing to that particular relationship at the expense of something else you could be investing into. So imagine for a moment you had a budget of energy for the month. If you were spending all of your budget on investing in one particular area, you would not be investing in multiple areas at the same time. So what you may want to do is see if there's a way for you to do both instead of just having one at the expense of another. What we're talking about is really a win-win principle. We're trying to, allow all of your relationships to thrive, family, friends, romance, and your dog, as opposed to having one at the expense of another.
Thank you for calling in with your question, Olivia. Hopefully that sends you off in the right direction. So we have a couple other questions that have come in now over email.
Great.
This one's really cool. So Joseph says, I travel a lot for work. Is there a way to feng shui a temporary space like a hotel or a car when I'm not at home?
Heck yeah. Great question, Joseph.
Okay, good.
So, feng shui to go is a really important thing. And, a lot of it is just making the space that you're in feel more personal. And this can be something super simple. I know people that bring their own pillow or their own blanket from home. I know some people that bring photos or something else to create a mini altar. Now, an altar doesn't mean we're necessarily sacrificing virgins or anything like that. It just might mean it's a place of focus. It's a place for meditation. So if you brought a photo of someone important to you or found something on a walk when you're traveling, a seashell or something else, you can just simply place this in one corner of the room you're staying in And I really liked what we were talking about earlier with regards to a ritual cure.
Yeah.
You know, if you could do a ritual cure in your space, you can make it more personal too.
You can do feng shui anywhere.
Anywhere.
This has been so fun. I really want to thank our guest, Ariel Joseph Towne of the fengshuiguy.com. His new book, Serene Makeover Inner Edition, Feng Shui Your Life from the Inside Out, is available on ebook August 1st?
August 1st.
August 1st, and in paperback on Amazon and in bookstores September 1st. So make sure you go out and get that. And follow the Feng Shui Guy on Facebook for more details. Also, thanks to Leanne Marrama from the Omen Store in Salem and PsychicsForHire.com. The show is produced by Bradley Quick Productions and Dear Mrs. D Productions and has been made possible by Fred Siegel, YouTube, Google, Buzz Bros, the Salvation Army, Universal Studios, Milestone Ranch Malibu, Tim Allen, Marilyn Toth, Taylor Hoskins, Natasha Lewin, Gina Vergolito, Intuitive Entertainment, and many others, including the Cool Change Foundation. Cool Change Radio is your home for self-improvement. I'm Dear Mrs. D, and until next time, catch us on youtube.com/Dear Mrs. D. Also remember to like us on Facebook and Twitter and keep up with us through DearMrsD.com. We'll see you again next Friday at 2 p.m. with the lovely ladies of Mixology, the nation's best gay and lesbian matchmaking service. Until then, happy dating.